So hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about something called as variables. Right? Variables. Now variables are very common in any programming language. Most of the time we need to refer to some sort of a value using a variable. You see, in Python, variables are basically names that are being associated with an object, right? So here, the blog post, we can see that a is equal to 10. That means this value 10, or which is an integer object, by the way. So this value 10 has been assigned a name a, and using this particular name a, we can refer to this and modify, print, whatever we want to do with this particular object, right? So today we are going to jump to another website which is called as a Python Tutor. Now this website is very good. Why? Because we can visualize our code, that how the actual code is being executed, right? So we are going to use this website during our tutorials on functions, which will need a bit of visualization and the discussion on stack. So what we are going to do, we are going to declare a variable a is equal to 10, right? And then we are going to print it. So print a, right? So we'll go over to this option, visualize execution. So it will take us there. So we can see we have 2 lines of code in here, right? In here we have 2 lines of code. Now I'll go through each and every line individually, not run all at once, right? So we can see how it behaves. So we see the first line has been executed, a is equal to 10. So what actually is happening, we have 10 which is actually being stored on our memory, and a name a is being assigned to it, right? So the idea of a actually holding a value is not exact in Python, maybe in other languages, but not in Python. In here, variable is nothing but a name given to an object, right? So now when I call this particular variable and I want to get it printed, so what actually happens, we see our output to be 10, right? So that is how it works. So we'll modify it a bit. Now variables can be assigned to everything. We can assign to a string also. So hello, right? So fine. Now if I execute it, again a similar behavior can be obtained. So we'll jump. We've created a global frame containing, don't worry about the frames and everything, we'll discuss later on. So we have created an object and we have named it as a, and then we have printed it as an output. Now when we execute another variable, so here we have our string object that is being saved and a name str being assigned to it. So that is the basic idea of variables, right? So that's why in Python variables are nothing but name assigned to the object, right? So I guess it makes sense. So here different other examples have been given, like a very big string, then a list and everything. And you see there are certain points also that the naming of variable is done according to the identifier's name only, right? So we cannot just use some sort of a keyword as a variable. It's not going to work. So we have to follow the identifier defining rules, right? When we discussed about identifiers, right? And another thing is that in Python variables are dynamically typed. Now what does it mean, dynamically typed? So we'll see. So if I declare a is equal to 10, right? Now I haven't told it what kind of object a is, or what kind of variable it's going to hold, right? So in that scenario, what actually happens if I try and find the type of a, if I execute it, it says it's an int, right? It says it's an int. So this is an idea of a dynamic typing. So based on the type, based on the data that has been assigned to a variable, right, the type of the variable is being denoted. So if I write something like 3.14, something of that sort, and if I execute it, it becomes float. So that's why it's called dynamically typed. We're not fixing it, right? We're not fixing the type of the variable. So that is the idea behind dynamic typing, right? And obviously another important thing is that it's always a good measure to name our variables meaningfully, not just putting a, b, c, something of this sort. It will not make sense later on. So if I'm storing a name of a student, I can write like name underscore student, something of that sort, right? So I can write something of like str or is equal to some sort of a name like Raman, something of that sort. It doesn't make sense. So as compared to if I would have written stu underscore name, right? So that is also a good habit. And now if I write, Dinesh, it will be more sensible. Stu name, that is student name, as compared to some sort of an str. So that was all about variables. Again, if you have any questions and queries regarding variables, do write them in the comment and check out our blog post for the more, right? So thank you and have a nice day.